When Boy Meets World ended, the internet didn't exist the way it does now. We never knew what the show meant to people. For 7 years, audiences were tuned in to the antics of Cory Cornelius Matthews. That's Matthews spelt with 2 T's.
2 T's in Matthews. Stupid.
Boy Meets World was to air on the famous ABC TGIF block on September of 1993. Cory would grow up in the same time zone that had featured Full House, Mr. Belvedere, Family Matters.
Friday, where else can you see Urkel, Myrtle, and Stefan all together? Ooh, scary thought. Family Matters.
Perfect Strangers, and Dinosaurs, the latter show being created by Michael Jacobs.
One of TV's most beloved personalities is back. It's the return of Dinah Shore.
Cut! Dinah Shore? It's dinosaurs! Dinosaurs! Oh, this is so embarrassing.
Michael was born June 28, 1955, in Highland Park, New Jersey. By 1997, a young Michael was already premiering his own plays. In 1982, Jacobs had his first show on ABC, No Soap Radio.
What is No Soap Radio?
A sketch comedy starring Steve Guttenberg.
And now, a No Soap Radio special report.
Mr. Potato Head is missing.
Jacobs' follow-up attempt, Charles in Charge, proved to be much more successful. Scott Baio starred as Charles, a college student who becomes a nanny to young children in exchange for having a place to live. Scott Baio was riding off his previous successful role of Chachi on Happy Days. The show was a hit in syndication, lasting 5 seasons and 126 episodes. In 1986, Together We Stand became his next show to hit the air. The show was about a married couple, David and Lori Randle, and their adopted children. According to producer Sherwood Schwartz, the plot for the show was originally written as a spin-off from the Brady Bunch called Kelly's Kids. It only lasted 19 episodes. In 1987, My Two Dads premiered on NBC. The show would win the Most Promising New Fall Television Series Young Artist Award of 1987 and a 1988 People's Choice Award for Favorite New TV Comedy. Michael Taylor was a successful financial advisor, and Greg Evigan played Joey Harris, a struggling artist. The two were awarded joint custody of 12-year-old Nicole. Nicole's mother, Marcy Bradford, died, and the two men who were once friends and had both dated Nicole's mother were left to raise her. In 1990, Singer and Sons, a comedy series about a Jewish widower who hires his housekeeper's sons to manage the family-owned deli, debuted. The way the feuding black brothers come to be fixtures in helping run a Jewish deli is pretty predictable. 1991 would debut The Torkelsons, a show created by Lynn Montgomery but was developed by Michael Jacobs. After her husband Randy leaves the family, Millicent Torkelson is left to support the family. After ending its first season on June 16, 1992, the series was retooled and renamed Almost Home. When her home is foreclosed on, Millicent becomes a nanny, and the family is moved to Seattle. Early Boy Meets World traces can be seen with Lee Norris playing 8-year-old bug collector Chucky Lee. Future Boy Meets World semi-regulars Brittany Murphy and Jason Marsden would play Molly and Gregory Morgan in the second season of the show. The show's run was over on June 6, 1993. 1991 would also debut The Dinosaurs, the first show of Michael's to be part of the TGIF lineup. The show centered on the Sinclair family, Earl Sinclair, Fran Sinclair, and their 3 children, Robbie, Charlene, and breakout star Baby Sinclair. The show utilized voice actors for the characters, which were performed by different actors and puppeteers. The show spawned merchandise and its own rap video featuring Baby Sinclair. Where I Live was the second attempt of a show for TGIF. This mid-season replacement show stars Dougie Doug as Douglas St. Martin, a Trinidadian American teenager living in the Harlem section of New York City. The show, featuring Douglas, Reggie, and Malcolm, was based on Dougie Doug's own childhood. The series drew critical acclaim, but the ratings were very low, putting it on the brink of cancellation. 1993 would not be a failure. They had another show set to air that fall. That show was named The Untitled Ben Savage Project, later to be renamed Boy Meets World.
A probing expose of the plight of the middle child. Stay with us.
I was just wrapping up Dinosaurs. I went to the president of Disney Television and said, in all these shows that are being done, Family Ties, Growing Pains, you have your Michael J. Fox, your Kirk Cameron, Big Brothers. But what about the kids in the middle? The younger kids? They have lives. All I wanted to do was write a show that never spoke down to kids, because I thought that was primarily what was happening in the world of teenage television. Let's speak up to them. They understand far more. ABC needed another family-oriented hit, and what better heir to Fred than his kid brother Ben?
Well, I kind of play like a Cupid role, like I'm always around. That's right, this is the Valentine's Day show, isn't it?
Yeah. Kevin tells me to put a Valentine card in Winnie's locker, but I put it in the wrong one. I put it in Becky Slater's locker, and she thinks Kevin likes him again. So everything turns out.
So you have made a triangle out of these three people, huh? You ought to be ashamed.
I know. I make everything a mess.
There was something about the Savages. They were both just ridiculously cute. Belonged on every diaper commercial.
How old are you?
I'm 9.
You're 9 years old.
Yeah.
You like acting too, huh?
I love it.
Both had the perfect combination of intelligence and humor. Both were willing to be vulnerable in a way that child actors weren't. You feel the world pouring into them, and they're reacting to it very honestly.
Boy Meets World was a sitcom that was formed in '93, and it was a coming-of-age story about a young character, Cory Matthews, and that was me. And it was him exploring the world, and it was basically him taking on the world, and we were seeing it from the eyes of a young 13-year-old boy.
Then the wildest things happen when the kids are left home alone.
Just won $680.
Let it ride!
All new Boy Meets World on TGIF Friday.
This show still needed someone for Cory to oppose.
What if there is a figure who is absolutely unable to be moved? If it's a workplace comedy, the workplace is school, the boss is the teacher. And what if the teacher lived next door?
From 1988 to 1993, Ben watched his brother, Fred, star on The Wonder Years.
My brother got the Wonder Years, so my family moved from Chicago to Los Angeles.
Ben even played the role of Cupid in a 1990 episode, The St. Valentine's Day Massacre. I remember being a kid, and every day after school, I would get dropped off and hang out on the Wonder Years set. If they were ever filming late, I would go sleep in his trailer because Mom didn't want me to be alone. A 12-year-old Ben went into the show setting his sights low. I prepared myself. Oh, you're not going to do this show for the next 7 years. Will Friedle had been living in Connecticut when he got his call to audition. Will's family allowed him to audition only once a week as not to interrupt his normal life. On the day of original casting, Will got sick and wasn't able to come in. Harry Barandes was cast, but later dropped for being the same height as Ben Savage. Will was able to re-audition at the Schubert Theater with the role of Eric Matthews coming down between himself, Jason Marsden, and Rilo Hunter. But they eventually cast a part to Will Friedle, a relative unknown but most famous for hosting Don't Just Sit There on Nickelodeon in the late 80s.
That's interesting.
This was my dream from the time I was a little kid. Everyone always asked me, what did you want to be? Never wanted to be a movie star. No desire whatsoever. I wanted to be Michael J. Fox, and not in Back to the Future, but Michael J. Fox on Family Ties. That's all I wanted to be.
Morgan Matthews was to be played by Lily Nixay. The character was originally a generic cute little sister. She was often used as a means for Eric to attract girls.
I'm Morgan, and this is my brother Eric. He's very shy.
She would later develop a more sarcastic personality.
Hi, I'm Cory, and for the next 3 years, I'm gonna look like a potato.
Ryder Strong would be cast as Shawn Patrick Hunter.
Ryder was the first actor to show up in casting.
The original idea of the show was that Cory would have many friends. I had actually only gotten the part on Boy Meets World because Rilo had worked with Michael Jacobs before.
Ryder auditioned, and I turned to the casting director and said, okay, that's fine. And she said, what do you mean? I have 40 people out here and we got 100. I said, no, that's fine, that's my guy.
The mother, Amy Matthews, was to be played by Betsy Randle. Betsy at the time was playing the role of Jill's best friend Karen Kelly on the mega hit Home Improvement. The role of the mother was actually much more her than I thought at the time. I realize that now as people stop and thank me for being this good mom. Betsy Randle and William Russ approached their roles as if they were parenting their own kids. For the role of Alan Matthews, Jacobs originally approached longtime actor William Russ about the role.
They came to me and I wasn't really interested at the moment of doing the show.
This opening will allow Matt McCoy to get casted.
And then they did the pilot and came back to me.
He was replaced by original choice William Russ.
As long as you got my face, you got my attention.
One actor to have auditioned for the role was future cast member Anthony Tyler Quinn, who was thought to be too young for the role. Alan's character was written to have a Navy background.
Michael took that and just put it in there as a tribute to my dad. My dad was a Naval Academy guy, and my mom was actually a Navy nurse.
For the role of Topanga Lawrence, the choice was between Danielle Fishel and Marla Sokoloff, Marla would later play Stephanie's friend Gia on Full House.
Mom, I'm a kid. I don't understand the emotional content of Full House.
Despite her being incredibly sweet, Marla was unable to improvise her performance when changes were made to the script. This led to Marla being replaced. With Marla still on set, a nervous Fishel had her first table read go poorly, and was given extensive notes on what was to change if she was to keep the role of Topanga. Topanga was written as a flower child, and Danielle was peppy and preppy.
And basically, I was just doing Topanga the way I'm talking now. I was just myself and kind of fast and upbeat. And he really wanted Topanga to slow down and to really enjoy the moment.
She went back the next day. Run through ended. Michael started the note session off with me again. My heart started beating regularly, and my palms got sweaty. Danielle, yesterday I gave you an enormous amount of notes, and I did that because I believed that you were capable of handling them. However, with your performance today, you exceeded my expectations. Lee Norris was cast as Stuart Lemke. The brainiac Stuart was the rival of Cory and Shawn and desired the affection of Miss Topanga. Stuart Minkus would only be featured in Season 1. Longtime actor William Daniels, perhaps most famous for playing President John Adams in 1776, rounded out the cast as George Hamilton Feeny, or as more often said, Mr. Feeny. His other famous role of Kit was more recognizable to the young cast.
I got all excited when during notes, Michael was giving notes, and Bill Daniels goes, "Now, Michael," and I go, "Knight Rider!"
Boys, times like this, I wish I listened more closely to Devon.
Is it all right to respond?
Yes, it's all right.
So, you want to play rough with George Feeny?
Feeny first appears on the show as their 6th grade school teacher and next-door neighbor to the Matthews family. He'd later become their principal, and to comedic effect, follow them from grade to grade.
Come on, Feeny, you haven't even talked to another student for 7 years.
The kids on the set thought William Daniels was British because he came across as very proper.
William Daniels, while we were young, still treated us like actors. You're professional actors. That's why you're here. Yes, you may be 12, Ben Savage, but this is your job.
There wasn't a whole lot of socializing off set, but we revered the character and the man. When he'd come on set, we'd talk, we'd listen, and we'd absorb. And then he would vanish, like some sort of magical person that just pops into your life. They came looking for me. I read the first script. I don't want to do this. I don't want to play Mr. Belvedere or make fun of teachers because I think they're underpaid, need more respect. Luckily for Jacobs, he was able to convince Daniels of the importance of the character, who was based on his own mentor, high school teacher. In a 24-hour turnaround, the script was rewritten and sent back to Daniels. And overnight, he sent another script, and it's totally different, totally believable, and totally doable. And so I said, okay.
I think these characters were written so well, and they were written so perfectly to match our personalities, that it was, I mean, when you're watching the show, Boy Meets World, I mean, that's us.
Boy Meets World will be right back.
Season 1 debuted to 16.5 million people on September 24th, 1993. The show would have storylines like Cory wanting to become a baseball player and dealing with things like school, family, and puberty.
Well, you got me. I'm an idiot.
Some of my greatest memories are from the first year, when the kids were little and it was all new and fresh. Maybe it was even the episode where we chased each other with water guns. Jason Marsden finally made his way on the show as Eric's best friend, Jason.
One of my favorite moments was obviously the first moment I had during the show when I, slammed Ben up against the lockers and gave him his first kiss. That was exciting. I was 12 and Ben was 13 at the time.
There was never any question that there would be a love story in the show, but we thought that the most interesting thing to do would be to start out understanding the boy.
Topanga's character originally had a sister, Nebula, Stop the War, Lawrence.
Hi, I'm Topanga's sister.
And here you thought Chet Hunter was the only one with mysteries in their family tree.
I'll ask my sister what she uses to straighten her hair.
One of those mysterious relatives for Chet Hunter was a sister named Stacy. What had actually happened was one of the other kids who was to sit with Cory and Shawn was fired during the episode, so all his dialogue was given to Ryder Strong. From that point forward, the crew felt the chemistry of Cory and Shawn was making the show click, and stopped bothering finding other friends.
Am I not your best friend?
I think the original concept was that there was always going to be two best friends, two guy best friends for Cory.
I'll hook up with Mr. Sullivan.
No, that's worse.
We used to have a chair that we called the death chair in the cafeteria because whoever sat in it wouldn't be back the next week.
Fifth episode, which was the first episode that they introduced Topanga, was probably the best episode. Because that was when everything clicked, so where I actually had a real role.
Entertainment Weekly gave the show a C-, stating the dialogue as trite.
Hey, I'm average.
And having issues with Ben Savage's delivery.
Are you aware that I'm only 11 years old?
They also believed William Daniels and William Russ were being wasted in the pilot. People magazine gave it a C+, stating Cory Matthews had overwritten dialogue.
You know, you're not doing your body any favors loading up on junk like that.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Feeny. And please enjoy that high-vitamin astronaut drink you're sucking down.
People magazine noted Mr. Feeny as a show highlight.
You shrewd little observer of the human condition.
I remember the first review I ever got. I was 16, and it's the first review I've ever gotten anything. Because, you know, Nickelodeon, they don't review you and stuff like that. And the first one I got was the older brother, Will Friedle, misspelled, is at best a cardboard cutout prop.
Bye, sorry everybody hates you.
During season 2, we were introduced to Chet Hunter, an on-again, off-again father figure.
Sorry I'm late. Well, actually, I was out in the hall having a smoke. Don't endorse it. Don't deny it.
Dad.
Chet was played by Blake Clark. We were also treated to the start of the running gag of the Hunter family tree.
Let's call my Uncle Frank. He knows horses. Uncle Mike's motorcycle repair shop.
Your Uncle Mike.
Well, except for Grandpa Lewis. Last week he got picked up.
I've had 3 mothers.
Yes, Verna, Ming-Hua, and Elaine.
I think we can rule Ming-Hua out.
My Uncle Ralph, he does not care, because twice a month he gets welfare. My Uncle Chuck has nylon hair. He bought the rug with his welfare.
On one blind date, I got fixed up with my Uncle Mary. Well, I went down to my Uncle Louis' butcher shop.
What happens when he's 500 pounds sitting on a couch, not moving?
Hey, I never stopped loving Aunt Gloria. To my alleged son, Chet. Happy birthday. These loving words are in no way an admission of guilt in the trial of the people versus Gertie Hunter. Interesting family on Dad's side. His great-grandfather and great-uncle were born in Scotland, and what they were known for was, well, one day they slaughtered their entire village. Hey, you know, my Uncle Ralph was in a documentary. They put a big blue dot over his face and changed his voice.
Happy birthday, Chet. To all the hunters here at this undisclosed location.
When they first met, actors Ben Savage and Ryder Strong didn't like each other that well. Ryder says over the years, Ben just kind of grew on to him. Ben Savage and Ryder Strong reached the point when they learned their lines so quickly and were able to read each other so well, they felt like they could not make a mistake. Season 2 has the kids starting high school. Mr. Feeny was now the principal, in charge of new teachers, like the cool Harley-riding Jonathan Turner.
They give all the teachers students. I'm Jonathan Turner. You can call me Mister.
Mr. Turner had an alternate way of teaching that clashed with Mr. Feeny's more traditional methods. Shawn would end up living with Mr. Turner when Shawn's dad takes off for his mother, Verna.
Hi there, big guy.
None of you want me. Well, that's fine. I don't need any of you. I never needed anybody.
Mr. Turner was introduced to the show, as far as I understand it, because Friends had taken off, and ABC was like, you need 20-somethings on the show. Luckily, I think what Michael ended up doing was recognizing that Mr. Turner and Shawn had a similar rebelliousness going on there. So suddenly, Shawn's living with him, which is kind of ridiculousness when you think about it. Greaser Harley Keiner was the school bully introduced as an antagonist to Cory and Shawn, and even occasionally Eric. Harley believed himself the eyes and ears of the school. Ethan Suplee would play school bully turned nice guy Frankie Stecchino. Joey the Rat Epstein was played by Blake Soper/Sennett, coming off his role of Ronnie Pinsky on Salute Your Shorts. Blake would later leave the show to focus on his band Rilo Kiley. Joey's role in the gang was never specified, obviously not the muscle. When McNulty left the cast towards the end of the season, Harley made one appearance as a different actor, Kenny Johnston.
How's Harley doing in his new reform school?
It's called Juvenile Boot Camp.
The original actor made one last cameo in the 3rd season, where he confronts new bully, Griff Hawkins. Adam Scott played replacement school bully, Griff Hawkins. It's weird, Boy Meets World has kind of turned into a thing now. At the time it was on Friday nights at 8 p.m., so no one I knew even knew what it was. It was for kids. So it was a thrill to be on a TV show briefly, but it was not like I ever got recognized for it. If I had known then that in 20 years the show would be beloved, I probably would have been more psyched about it. Season 2 took a heavy focus on different aspects of teen dating.
I can't walk through life with you. Is there someone else? There's everybody else.
Real life started mirroring the show.
I can't believe you just did that.
And I think that's what a lot of people can almost identify with, you know, when they watch the show. It's like, oh, I went through that too, as opposed to characters that they couldn't really, relate to.
Betsy Randle joked that Will Friedle took advantage of the situations that required him to kiss on camera. I was 13 when Boy Meets World started, so when people start interviewing you, it is exciting. Like Tiger Beat or Bob, they start coming to you, they take it very seriously, and they ask, okay, what do you look for in a girl? I thought these were just normal questions everyone asks. A sense of alienation that comes with fame in general, and certainly the type of fame that I had, this particular teen idol thing that I still don't understand. When you're 13 and someone wants to interview you.
You're going through some changes, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
You know what those changes are?
Seriously? No kidding?
Yeah.
I'm a werewolf.
I don't think I liked any of the 90s fashion trends. I had really horrible feathered bangs. I do not want to see those come back.
Ryder also had trouble dealing with the attention that his hair brought him. I hated my hair. I came to the auditions with that hairstyle, got the part, and the director Michael Jacobs never let me cut it from there on out. A bunch of girls at a sleepover told me to wear my hair like that, parted down the center, and I was 12, so I listened. It was my version of Christian Slater. I wanted to cut my hair so bad, but the only time I got to was when we found out the show was going to be canceled.
Ryder's big thing was he didn't like his hair falling in his eyes, so, you see it all the time. He's like running his fingers through his hair, and I don't think he knew he was driving every girl in America wild.
It became part of your character.
I know,
the constant hair flipping back was
I
like
know.
a thing.
I still, to this day, if I catch myself doing this, I stop.
Ryder admits to not watching many repeats of Boy Meets World, finding it hard to watch his maturation on film. And all the stars of 90s teen media showed up. Candace Cameron, Melissa Joan Hart, Linda Cardinelli, Mina Savare, Kerry Russell, Stacey Keenan, Andrew Keegan, Larissa Olnick, Jennifer Love Hewitt. I always had fun working with Love. Not only was she my girlfriend, but also a close friend. I remember how excited we both were when Michael mentioned that he wanted to put her on the show. The show wasn't just about casting the teen idols. We would have interesting old-timer guest stars, Rue McClanahan, Phyllis Diller, Buddy Hackett, Bernie Coppell. We had an episode in the early years where Jim Abbott was on. The show even had a fascination with pro wrestling, including having pro wrestler Vader in the role of father of school bully Frankie Stecchino.
I'm the face of death!
It was scarier when you had acne.
What we didn't realize is that Vader was a villain in the world of, wrestling. There's like villains and heroes, and he was a villain. So when we ran out to do our scene in character in front, they were booing us. They're like, no! And we're like, well, we're just trying to make a TV show.
Season 7 saw the girls challenging Eric and Jack to a wrestling match for the apartment, with the WWF's Mankind as a referee. I think the coolest story stemming from my appearance on Boy Meets World is that I'm still in touch with Danielle. A few years ago, somebody sent me a tweet where she mentioned that I was one of the most enjoyable guest stars to work with. Their left-of-center approach led to things like a Three-Force Monkey reunion. ABC was using each TGIF show as a platform to promote the newest Beatles anthology. The music in the intro of each of that night's shows would be a Beatles song. In their own quirky, rebellious way, Boy Meets World decided that'd be the perfect time for an episode with the Monkees.
You know, the magical world of Disney is really magical.
Why do you think they call it the magical world of Disney?
Well, they call it the magical world of Disney because it only shows the greatest Disney films for the entire family. You know, like The Rescuers Down Under, The Lion King, Pollyanna.
What would you do if I told you that this family is going to subscribe to the Disney Channel so every Sunday evening we can watch the magical world of Disney?
Well, I do all my homework. I'd make my bed every day, and I'd let you guys live with me when you're older.
Season 3 of Boy Meets World aired between September 22nd, 1995 and May 17th, 1996. The first change would come by adding a friend for Jonathan Turner. Eli Williams was his former college roommate. Turner would get him a job teaching media arts. They had the character Eli, who was the black young teacher, and they were going to have this whole 20-something storyline. I don't know what they were thinking, but it was a complete disaster. It didn't work at all.
You have to please the studio, you have to please the network, you have your corporate masters. When they realize, oh, we have a hit on our hands, they start trusting the people who gave them the hit.
Eric would struggle through the season to get his grades up so that he could get into college. Cory and Topanga start the season by finally becoming a couple and say their first I love you.
If I had to dream up the perfect woman, she wouldn't even come close to you. Would you be my girlfriend? I love you.
I love you too.
But break up in episode 312, The Grass is Always Greener. Lindsay Ridgeway would take over the role of Morgan. The show made this switch with an on-camera wink to its fans.
I mean, she stays in her room, you don't hear from her, you don't see her, and best of all, she stays out of my personal life.
So, rumor upstairs is you got a date.
Morgan, long time no see.
Yeah, that was the longest time out I've ever had.
Things really get hot when Cory accidentally sets fire to the biology lab.
Shawn, quick, rub off your DNA.
Boy Meets World.
As the season progressed, Chet stays in contact less and less with his son. Mr. Turner gets to the point where he's ready to become Shawn's legal guardian.
Well, I spoke to an attorney today. Guess what? 48 hours, I'm Shawn's legal guardian.
Whoa, been on the fence about that one for a while.
You know, it's what he needs, man. Besides, I've come this far, I might as well go the distance, you know?
The season ends with Shawn going back to live with his dad, Chet. Eric Matthews graduates, but does not get into college.
I didn't get in.
What?
They rejected me.
People keep on saying that the show is going to end, but I honestly have no idea. I thought the show was going to be over after our third season. It just goes to show that you can never tell.
With that trust, we were able to be who we really were. And what we did was hit the accelerator. The promise of it was at the beginning. The fulfillment of it hit, as you say, at the middle and went on through the end.
TGIF, Backstreet's on TGIF. You know that's where it's at. Backstreet's on TGIF.
The guys would lip sync to the Backstreet Boys in front of the audience between takes.
Check out Boy Meets World.
That is one big freaking picture of the Backstreet Boys. The BSB rocks.
I actually still have it on a VHS tape somewhere in my mom's den.
That did well. It was like, if you of them were in the room, it was on, you know. And sometimes it got so crazy, we could even get through a taping because they'd just be cracking so many jokes.
They never let Ryder and I do scenes together because we would look at each other and start laughing.
Let's take it from that line.
Which line? What, we can do line by line?
The fourth season of Boy Meets World aired between September 20th, 1996 and May 9th, 1997, airing between Clueless and 2020.
Hey, I wonder what happened to that chain mender Sabrina put the spell on. Well, let's see if Cher can explain it to us. Clueless is coming up next.
It used to be on at 8:30, but this year they moved to 9:30. Those idiots.
Wait a minute, they moved that show to 9:30. Why?
No one knows.
Well, was it doing badly at 8:30?
No.
Well, why didn't they leave it alone?
They're trying to kill it. They're trying to kill it.
On the show, with Eric not getting into college, he returns home with no direction. Alan Matthews has a midlife crisis, and the family buys Kimball's, an outdoor adventure store. Eric and Alan begin working together. On the Hunter side, Verna returns to complete the Hunter family. Didn't Verna have a son, Eddie? How come he's never seen when she moves back in with them?
Eddie, I'm serious. I'll turn you in. Come on, man, I'm your brother.
Kristana Loken debuts as one of Shawn's more memorable girlfriends, Jennifer.
As my favorite teacher always says, do yourself a favor, eat breakfast. You know, he's right. The energy from breakfast, what you grab from home or school, fuels your brain. So you do better in class, have a better attitude, and do better physically. So do yourself and everybody else a favor. Eat right. Eat breakfast.
A Long Walk to Pittsburgh has Topanga dealing with having to leave Philly and move to Pittsburgh with her family.
My family and I are moving.
The story is resolved when Topanga is allowed to live with her aunt after running away from her new home.
Well, maybe she'll realize that we're Romeo and Juliet. We belong together.
Look, my aunt has never been in love, never been married, and wouldn't even know who Romeo and Juliet were.
We sort of fashioned Cory and Topanga's Romeo and Juliet, and I thought, wouldn't it be amazing to actually get Juliet to be the conflict? Because Zeffirelli's Romeo and Juliet, of course, starred Olivia Hussey, and so Olivia Hussey played Topanga's aunt.
Well, Ryder and I had to dress up like women. That was quite exciting because it was very new and different. They didn't even ask that I wear undergarments, but the day we were filming, I showed up with some on. My hosiery is bunching. I enjoyed it a lot.
Mr. Feeny encouraged Eric to continue his pursuit of college. Alan fires Eric from the store to motivate him. The season also featured the last episode of Mr. Turner on Boy Meets World. When Shawn starts hanging around with
not a cult,
Jonathan Turner tries to stop him. Shawn does not want his help because he does not believe Mr. Turner really cares about him.
A judgment I made a long time ago is that Chet Hunter is the best friend that my kid ever had. And I will kill to protect Chet Hunter from people like you.
George, what is it?
Jonathan Turner. He's been in a motorcycle accident.
Oh, no.
Is he okay?
No, he isn't.
Now, you cannot leave here, do you hear me? Turner took care of you. He loves you. And you love him.
God. I don't want to be empty inside anymore.
When Mr. Turner gets into a motorcycle accident, it forces Shawn to reevaluate his choices. Quinn had a reduced role through most of Season 4, and going forward, the writers didn't believe his character to have much use in future storylines. Before the days of Netflix and streaming, follow-through on storylines was a lot more relaxed. This included having the characters jump up in age, jump ahead in grades, and have characters disappear in and out of the storylines. We also meet Dean Bolander in her first appearance in the episode, Learning to Fly. Eric Matthews has to convince her that he is ready to take college seriously after years of slacking off in high school.
TGIF is where it's at with Sabrina, an all-new episode of You Wish, Boy Meets World, and to top it all off,
Teen Angel! It's a feisty one.
Coming Fridays on ABC.
Look, puppy dog eyes. Cool, huh?
Hey, Dad! Mom! Come here! Quick, hurry up!
What? What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. I just didn't want you to miss the Magical World of Disney, which is next on the Disney Channel Spring Preview. It's the Disney animated classic, The Rescuers.
Eric, you scared us to sound as though you needed help.
You think? It's funny.
What, did you say the Magical World of Disney?
Yep.
Oh, I love watching that.
Oh, I remember watching this together as a family and seeing so many wonderful programs.
Well, tonight, it's the rescuers who never fail to answer the call for help. Well, then maybe there's hope for you yet. I sure hope so, because I haven't seen Amy in a while.
The 5th season aired from October 3rd, 1997 and May 15th, 1998, returning back to the 8:30 time slot between Sabrina the Teenage Witch and You Wish.
TGIF is taking you behind the scenes.
That's right, Ben, but right now there's a genie in your future.
The magic continues on You Wish.
The gang has entered their senior year of high school. With Eric not getting housing, he comes back home only for Cory to search for an apartment and roommate for his brother. That roommate was Jack Hunter. He's revealed as Shawn's paternal half-brother.
He's my brother.
Of course he is. He is not your brother.
Same dad, different moms.
Jack and his maternal sister grew up in a wealthy stepfamily in New York City. Jack's mother left Chet Hunter with her son due to not being able to cope with her former husband's alcoholism.
Do you know why my mom left him? Because she went for a guy with more money? She left him because he was an abusive, ugly drunk. Don't you ever talk about my son! Son! Stop! He's my father too, man. Alcoholism is in our family, and you shouldn't drink.
Shawn would later deal with his own alcohol issues in Season 5. Shawn reveals he always knew about Jack and even wrote to him. Jack says he never got the letters. Although the character of Jack Hunter was Shawn's older brother, in real life, Matthew Lawrence was 2 months younger than Ryder Strong.
I was also kind of a really introvert type of a person. I've never actually really asked you guys this, but do you guys think I was just really quiet or
You were shy. Chet decides that the two estranged brothers should live together, along with Eric, and get to know each other. They wanted to add more to the show. They wanted another guy to bounce off Will, a little fresh blood into a situation that was already really good. We also meet Angela Moore.
I auditioned 5 times before they finally said yes.
The interracial teen couple of Angela and Shawn were considered groundbreaking for a primetime television show.
We really didn't mention the fact that I was black and he was white. Funny enough, I grew up in a poor neighborhood, but I was shipped to white schools to go to school all my life, you know, and I always had a crush on somebody of the other races. I didn't have a lot of black people in the school, but I'd grown up in it and everything. So I really related to the character, you know, and everything, and I'm very proud of it.
Originally breaking up because of Shawn's 2-week rule, the two were reunited when Shawn finds a purse and finds the items in it to match his ideal girl.
I thought I was just coming on for a guest spot, okay? And then I got called back for 2 more episodes.
And now it's time for Let's Learn Something.
This season also featured Amy Randall's favorite moment of filming the show, in an episode set in the 40s, where she got to dress up like Rosie the Riveter.
That's right, Ben. But right now it's time to see what you do in front of the camera.
Boy Meets World, next on TGIF.
The biggest shock of the season came from Cory kissing Lauren. It all begins when Cory sprains his ankle falling off the bus during the senior class ski trip. Cory doesn't tell Topanga when he spends the night with Lauren. Cory milks his injury to stay another day in the lodge. That lie bothers Shawn. That night, Cory and Lauren kiss. Before leaving the lodge, Lauren slips a letter in Cory's bag, which Topanga finds.
When were you planning on telling me about Lauren's letter?
Cory is torn between making up with Topanga or allowing himself to see how it would be to go out with Lauren. After he goes out on a date with Lauren, he decides he can't live without Topanga, but she decides she can't see him anymore. The events of the letter would even come up in Girl Meets World.
Oh, well, before we got married, your father met a girl at a ski lodge, and she really liked him. Matthews, you dog. Is this why we never go skiing?
Chet Hunter is kidnapped by his jilted exes because they believe that he'll ruin his date with Angela and that they are doing Angela a favor by not allowing her to get hurt on Valentine's Day. Kristen Loken returns as Jennifer.
How did I get myself into this?
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Can I have her hair?
TGIF will be right back, and so will I. Don't go anywhere.
And Then There Was Shawn was a season 5 episode written by Jeff Minnell, a freelance writer. Having been heavily influenced by the movie Scream, the script was a favorite of the writer's room. The episode was designed to strike a balance between scares and fun. One of my favorite lines in the episode is when Will and Matt Lawrence were told by writer that
virgins never die.
All right. Thanks for saving me.
I'm dead. I'm dead.
Well, I'll get as sick as you can get without actually dying.
South Park raged through Hollywood that summer like napalm.
Oh my gosh! They killed Kenny!
I remember Will got a hold of one of the original tapes of their short film, The Spirit of Christmas.
So I can do Cartman.
I'm not fat. I'm festively plump.
And we organized screenings for all the writers and the crew. So by the time the show was on Comedy Central, the whole Boy Meets World cast and crew were already complete fanatics. Promises, Promises featured the discussion of the gang losing their virginity, and Amy becoming pregnant with the 4th Matthews child.
I'm pregnant. I'm not kidding.
I'm not kidding.
Cory and Topanga's breakup hit Shawn especially hard. Shawn had spent most of the season depressed over the fact a relationship like his friends could just die, and made it his mission to get his friends back together. When Topanga realizes a kiss could mean nothing,
That's all it took. Do you know what I felt when he kissed me?
Yeah, I probably do.
Nothing.
What?
her and Cory make up.
Well, tonight, TGIF has your backstage pass to Boy Meets World Behind the Scenes, where the real action is.
Psych!
You'll learn things you never knew about the TGIF stars.
5 times a day, I put on makeup. Really? Just for fun.
Then things really get out of hand when Will Friedle takes you on a TGIF tour of the set.
Now, I know you guys can't smell this, but it's absolutely disgusting.
The gang gets prepared to graduate. Feeny decides to retire, and Topanga contemplates about going to Yale or staying with Cory. Cory tries to convince Topanga that he wants her to go away to Yale, despite that not actually being what he wants. Shawn contemplates not going to college at all. This upsets Cory, who expected everyone to go to the same school together.
First, Topanga's accepted to Yale.
The Ivy League is pleased to announce the further disintegration of your world.
A new Boy Meets World.
In an interview, Danielle Fishel said that given the same choice as Topanga, she would not have been able to give up Yale. Old faces like Joey, Frankie, and Stuart Minkus return for graduation.
I'd be Cory.
That makes me Shawn. Come on, Joey.
I was just in the other part of the school.
What other part of the school?
You know, over there.
Well, we don't go there.
Yeah, you go over there, you may never come back.
That's crazy. Hey, Mr. Turner, wait up.
Meanwhile, Eric tries to keep Mr. Feeny from retiring, and Topanga slyly steals the valedictorian position from Minkus. and shocks Cory by proposing to him at graduation.
Ryder came to me one day on the set and said, I have to quit. I'm really sorry, I really loved it. This was like year 5, and I have to go now, so long, bye-bye. And, you know, he turned and he went to the door. That was like Columbo, and just as he reached the door, he said, why do you have to quit?
You're watching TGIF.
The 6th season aired between September 25th, 1998 and May 14th, 1999, airing at 8:30 between Two of a Kind and Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Folks, for the last 6 years, my next guest has starred on the show Boy Meets World on ABC. Please welcome Mr. Ben Savage.
TGIF has your backstage pass to Boy Meets World.
Stick around for more TGIF Backstage, but first,
Boy Meets World, next!
Joining the cast this season was Maitland Ward as Rachel.
And I just think that Rachel was a really smart, strong woman.
Ward had actually auditioned for another of Michael Jacobs' shows, Zoe, Duncan, Jack, and Jane.
But I didn't get the part for Zoe, obviously. But Michael was so sweet, and they said, we're going to add you to Boy Meets World. And I was like, oh my God, I want to be on Boy Meets World. That was like the best day of my life.
Rachel moves in with the boys as Shawn moves out. Cory and Topanga leave in the middle of a family argument to elope. But Topanga gets cold feet at the ceremony. The families set up an impromptu newlywed party. Amy lectures the couple that getting married is a bad idea at their age. Coming out of retirement, Mr. Feeny takes a job at the college.
I intended to come here strictly as a student. I thought I had retired from teaching.
Yes, well, when I stopped teaching to become dean, I thought the same thing.
Lila Bolender is the dean of Pembroke, a strict disciplinarian college administrator who's romantically attracted to George Feeny. Around this time, the character of Eric started to change.
Will was not like Eric in the beginning because he had a fine mind and he spoke in complete sentences.
For Eric Matthews, we started out with a dependable brother and said, what kind of incredible moron could we turn this character into? No matter how much moron we gave you, you always wanted more. We were happy to supply it.
I mean, Will became a genius comedic actor before our eyes. Like, in the original the first season, really, I mean, Will say this too, he's like, I learned how to act, because he's like, I didn't know how to act that whole first year. But I also think it was because he didn't really have much of a character. It was sort of like, he was the older brother, and, you know, he was like, at first he was kind of the good-looking guy who could always get dates, and then, like, that didn't really work, and he was kind of too funny, and anyway, by the time, you know, he was doing plays with squirrels, it was like, this is Will's wheelhouse.
He was Forrest Gump before Forrest Gump. That's how we always described Eric.
Stewart, played by Ben Savage's real-life brother Fred Savage, was a teacher the group related to because he treats them as equals. Stewart used the kids' trust to hit on Topanga in her dorm room. This causes Cory to strike Stewart. Stewart tries to have him expelled from the school, but is ultimately unsuccessful. Dean Bolender sentences Cory to a probationary period, and Stewart would be faced with an investigation for his misconduct. Shawn has broken up with Angela so they could both meet new people in college. Chet reappears on campus, promising that he's come to stay and spend time with his sons. Shawn, knowing his father, warns Jack that this won't last for long.
I guess I just can't believe I'm gonna actually get to spend time with my father. You're not. He said he's staying. Yeah, but the man doesn't know how to stay.
Chet suffers a heart attack. Chet and Shawn realize how much they need each other and how alike they are. Chet has a second heart attack and dies.
We lost him. His heart wasn't strong enough.
Shawn and Jack clear out Chet's trailer, where they discover evidence that Chet went to Jack's stepfather for help in financing Shawn's college education. Shawn is an issue, being Jack's family's charity case. Shawn takes the trailer out on the open road. This would mirror the same reaction Shawn was said to have when Riley was born on Girl Meets World. Then, a distraught Jack cries in Rachel's arms, and Eric walks in to find them kissing passionately. While in the hospital waiting for Joshua Gabriel Matthews to be born, Cory tries to reconnect with the old weird Topanga. There is panic as Joshua is having trouble breathing on his own. Shawn returns and is accepted by the elder Matthews as family.
Oh, I'm sorry. Family only.
He is family. Good night, Shawn.
Night, Dad.
I'm in your memories. And you will always be here to remind me.
Use a mirror, babe. Use a mirror, babe.
Joshua is able to pull through. Dean Bolander's ex-husband arrives back in town. So that she won't go back with him, Cory, Eric, and Shawn force Mr. Feeny to declare his feelings.
If you stick around, we promise to show you the rest of the show.
On ABC.
Maybe.
Cory Matthews, suffering from paranoia jealousy syndrome, he loses his shirt every time anyone even glances at his girlfriend and transforms into the Incredible Hulk. Boy Meets World, Thursdays at 6:30.
Topanga's parents come back to town to announce they are in the process of separating, which devastates Topanga. Feeny and Dean Bolander get married in the Matthews living room. During the 6th and 7th season, some of the cast began to struggle with their weight.
Mark, do you think I'm fat?
Yeah. You know, people change over the summer. They both put on 10 pounds. I said, I'm writing it, and Will took an entire slice of pizza, ate the whole thing. And those are the things you don't expect.
Though for Will Friedle, it was something much more troubling.
Anxiety is something that I've dealt with ever since. And at one point it was so bad that I couldn't do the on-camera anymore. I mean, people, when you go back and you watch Boy Meets World, you notice the difference between, I gained something like 30 or 40 pounds between, it was either season 5 and season 6 or season 6 and season 7. And it wasn't because, hey, I got lazy and I was eating, it was because I was medicated. It was the only way I could get on camera.
Looks like Will Friedle's grabbed one of our TGIF cameras. Let's see what he's up to.
Who's paging you with hi, babe?
That's none of your business.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So what do you do on the
I'm a boom pusher.
No, well, what is a boom pusher?
A boom pusher pushes the boom.
So this is my favorite part right here, the fake fish. There's Ryder Strong.
Let's go, let's go.
The 7th and final season aired between September 24th, 1999 and May 5th, 2000, airing at 8:30 between the Hugleys and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Topanga breaks up with Cory, fearing they'd end up the same as her parents. Angela then breaks up with Shawn. Cory and Shawn travel to Pittsburgh, attempting to get Topanga's parents back together.
Sometimes love just dies.
Angela is visited by her military father, who Shawn goes out of his way to impress. Angela admits her love for Shawn, and the two get back together.
Honey, whatever happens between your father and me shouldn't affect what happens between you and Cory.
You're unbelievable.
Topanga and Cory get back together and continue their engagement. ABC ran an internet poll asking whether Cory and Topanga should get married. Jacobs wanted the iconic couple to marry before the show ended. ABC disagreed with the decision. The network executives thought that the characters, which were 20 years old, were far too young to get married. You have a brand new thing you aren't using, abc.com.
Where the cast of Boy Meets World is answering your juicy online questions.
Yeah.
Like, why is Ryder so cute?
Oh, wow. Cute is a subjective term, Allison.
Do Ben and Danielle enjoy kissing?
Nick. I love kissing Danielle. Very nice.
It's not all passionate like you think it was. We've got cameras right in our face.
Is Ryder going with anyone?
Well, money? No. I'm single at the moment.
Can I marry Cory?
Allie, I'd love to marry you.
But don't make any plans, Allie.
I'll make you a deal. Run a graphic on Sabrina on the bottom. Should Cory and Topanga get married or not? And he said, we'll get 10,000 hits. And I said, let's see what the 10,000 say. In 15 minutes, we got 220,000 hits, 98% of which said, what do you think we're waiting for? Ted called me the next day. Can you please marry them in November or February? So that's what they did.
We want to get married next week.
No wedding hall, no fancy planner, just our friends and family.
All the people who care about us, right here next Friday night, 8 o'clock, 7 Central.
One question.
Mr. Feeny?
You're going to go through with it this time, aren't you?
Okay, we're finally doing it.
We're getting married.
And we want you to be there, this time next Friday night.
You're gonna look so cute in a tuxedo.
Yeah, it's powder blue.
No, it's not.
Well, all our friends are going to be there too, including you.
It wouldn't be the same without you.
So please RSVP to our website.
Cory and Topanga.
One word.
.com.
See, Cory and Topanga, one word, is sort of like a symbol of our unity.
No, it's a computer thing.
Unity. CoryandTopanga.com.
See you at our wedding.
I think a lot of people agree that was the jump the shark moment, because they got married in the middle of our last season, as opposed to ending the show with their marriage. But yes, he got married too young. Definitely. That's my answer. Yes. It's ridiculous. On Cory and Topanga's wedding day, Shawn and Cory are in a fight. Cory refuses to talk about the fact that he and Shawn will never be best friends again. So Shawn refuses to be Cory's best man. When Eric takes over, he moves the wedding to the most expensive place in town, illegally. The wedding goes on as planned until Shawn comes with the rings that Eric forgot, and Cory and Shawn have it out once and for all.
Do you really like her? Yeah, I really do. You sure?
They're divorced, right? Probably. No, because the whole conceit of the show was that they were meant for each other, so I can't say that. Of course they're still together in magical Happy Land. Yes, I think that had to happen. It was just the right thing. We had watched these two characters and their relationship blossom over the course of 7 years, and it was just the right thing. Topanga and Cory then must adjust to married life and find a place to live. Verna writes Shawn a letter revealing to him that he is not her son, but the son of a stripper.
Hey, but don't blame her, son. She wasn't really the mother type. She was more, how can I put this delicately, a stripper.
This is a question that may not have an answer. At least not for now. Shawn struggles to accept the fact that he has no idea who his parents are. Feeling depressed, Shawn shows up drunk to Alan's 46th birthday party.
I'll be your father.
You'll be what?
I want you to be a member of this family.
Shawn, you have always been a part of our family.
How about we make it official?
Shawn has always reminded your dad of someone he knew when he was a kid.
You had a best friend like Shawn?
I was like Shawn.
Chet shows back up as Shawn's spiritual guardian, and Shawn comes to grips with his past. Shawn returns to the party, turns down the offer of adoption, but still knows he's always part of the family. This season also featured the fan-favorite episode about a prank war that breaks out between Rachel, Jack, and Angela versus Shawn, Cory, and Topanga, with Eric acting as a neutral spy.
And they handed out flyers saying, okay, nobody have food anywhere near the bear, and don't move fast. Well, in the scene, we're covered in honey and we run away from the bear.
The character was so crazy that I walked onto the set dressed in this long beard with matted stuff, and I'm holding a staff, and the audience was like, yep, that makes sense. Like, yep, you got us, where are we going now?
In the second to last episode, Angela's father returns to take her to Europe for a year. And Topanga gets an internship at the law firm Brown Elliott in New York. Rachel, Jack, and Eric graduate from college.
Boy Meets World, at the end of its 7th year, could have gone to an 8th year, a 9th year, a 10th year. Watching them grow was your fascination and my fascination.
By the time we hit the 7th season, we had kind of really, all of our characters had found, you know, they had grown up.
My parents and I love it. What are the odds of that happening?
Wow, Danielle, you really love Kushling. Yeah, Jody, they're cool. Guess what? Now there's Wild Times Kushlings. Way cool.
Yes! Ah! Cutting! Dude, come here.
I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you so much. Let's not say goodbye.
If I had to dream up the perfect woman, she wouldn't even come close to you. The only thing that ever made sense to me was you.
I love you all. Class dismissed.
Say farewell to Boy Meets World in 1 week on ABC.
In the two-part finale, Jack and Rachel join the Peace Corps. Shawn and Eric join Cory and Topanga in going to New York. Cory talks to his little brother Joshua, played by Daniel Jacobs.
You know, it's the same world that's given you your family and your friends, you know? And you're gonna come to believe that the world's gonna protect you too. Boy Meets World. Now I get it.
Mr. Feeny returns back to the high school and says farewell to the kids with some final advice.
Dream. Try. Do good.
Dream. Try. Do good. Always stuck with me as a mantra. We're all adults now, and we're trying to do the best with what we can.
The 4 main cast members, Danielle, myself, and 2 others, were in the classroom with William Daniels, and he looked at us, and his final line was, I love you all, class dismissed. And dream, try, do good. But he said, I love you all, class dismissed. And I remember when they said cut, it was almost like someone was saying, you're no longer a kid anymore. You know, it was like moving on to the next stage of your life. And I'll always remember that.
Remember that too?
Absolutely.
This is my childhood that isn't my childhood. It's a big part of my childhood, but it's just acting. A lot of the time, I was really experiencing some of those things on camera.
And Michael is over my shoulder going, be a professional, don't grab your nose. And sure enough, on camera, I grabbed my nose because I was like snotting all over the place. We only did that last scene in one take because we were all too just wrecked.
A lot of those emotions, like that finale, those are real tears.
How can I learn so much every week and still be so stupid?
Since entering syndication, Boy Meets World has aired on ABC Family, MTV2, and the Disney Channel. It's the only TGIF show that has never left syndication.
I think this show has mass appeal, or we're hoping it does.
Because it was very popular, right?
It was, and interesting about the show is that it got more popular once we went off the air. It found a great life in cable and reruns,
so kids
the
have
internet.
seen it.
It's never been off the air in 21 years.
On Disney?
Not just on Disney.
ABC Family, MTV2.
After Boy Meets World, after TGIF came off the air, children were persona non grata on primetime network television. So all of a sudden, there were boutique cable channels which catered to this particular audience.
Oh, thank you so much. This is the coolest thing in the world. You know what? We want to thank everyone out there. Thank you guys for supporting our show. And we love everyone out there. And we hope you're having fun because we love you. Love you guys. Thank you.
But it's hard to escape Boy Meets World when, you know, kids get out at 3 o'clock of schools in New York and then they're on the subway, you know, asking for my autograph constantly.
William Daniels tells of a time that he was spotted by school kids coming home on the bus. They spotted me and they started yelling, "Mr. Feeny, Mr. Feeny." I'm a coward. I ran all the way around the block just to escape them.
I had no idea the show was that popular when we were doing it. And it wasn't until it just started showing on TV, and now it shows on TV sometimes 6 hours a day.
People don't give me crap in bars. It's a pretty sentimental show, but when you're a young person, sentimentality doesn't bother you so much.
The fans that we grew up with, you know, we started the show when I was about 12.
Right.
So I was like this young little kid, and our fans were basically like younger people.
Mm-hmm.
But as I've grown up, like our audience has grown up, so most of our fans now are like in college. So I get guys coming up to me all the time, just like fraternity guys, like, yeah, we love your show, like I grew up with it. And like they play drinking games to our show, they do everything to our show.
You know, and it's amazing how many wonderful lessons are in the show, and it's sort of disguised with comedy, and so you don't really notice it when you're a kid, but then you're like, wait a second, that was like a big topic.
People who are now parents write saying, "You helped me grow up. You helped me raise my family." That has been really gratifying.
I've had people say, you know, that they needed a dad at a certain time in their life, and Carlin happened to be that dad for them, and that's really quite touching to me.
Boy Meets World's legacy seems to have only gotten bigger since leaving the air.
Yeah, you still get letters, yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Boy Meets World is just for television. That's one of those experiences that you know, it's kind of like a phenomenon. It just sort of happens, and you're kind of along for the ride.
From loving tributes on late night.
Boy Meets World. Boy greets world. Hello world. I'm Cory Matthews, short and average, head full of curls.
To the internet.
When this boy meets world.
To the general zeitgeist.
You like Boy Meets World? Love it.
What song is running through my head right now?
Theme song from Saved by the Bell.
Oh my God, it was the theme song to Boy Meets World.
Wait, Nothing Past Season 5. Nothing Past Season 8.
Was that before or after Cory marries Topanga?
My favorite was when it was Family Matters, Boy Meets World, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and Step by Step.
My father's joined the cast of Boy Meets World.
Just when you're saying your prayers tonight, in addition to the one about meeting Topanga from Boy Meets World.
I'm guessing this is how Cory and Topanga will react at Mr. Feeny's funeral.
Well, before Aaron, his biggest client was a day player on Boy Meets World.
Yeah, I'm just excited because they're showing an episode of Boy Meets World.
I did the movie White Chicks, and when it's funny, when I went on the set, Dwayne's brothers and other cast members were like, "Wait, we gotta ask you We're on Boy Meets World.
You can now buy shirts with Mr. Feeny on them, confess your feelings about show plots, see a history of shoes worn on the show, or even interact with the stars himself. A 2013 article in People magazine said that Cory and Shawn had the best friendship in television history. A 2011 article in the New York Times said Boy Meets World is one of the iconic shows of the 90s. Boy Meets World even led way to a sequel series, Girl Meets World.
That's different from Boy Meets World.
Yeah, it's their kids. So Cory and Topanga have a daughter. They also have a son named Augie, but anyway, it's that show. So we watched that show a lot.
Everyone had kind of moved on after Boy Meets World and was doing their own stuff and engaged in their own projects. Everyone was busy, and then there had been talk of maybe a reunion or sequel over the years, but nothing really came of it. Things started to happen, and all of a sudden, it became a real thing. Ben Savage and Danielle Fishel reprised their roles in Girl Meets World, which centers on the life of the couple's daughter, Riley Matthews.
So he was Boy Meets World.
I was.
Now you're the Girl Meets World, so you're the Cory now.
I am the Cory.
Cory has become a middle school teacher, while Topanga is a lawyer, both retaining their original character traits.
William Daniels was kind of the epitome of what a teacher should be on Boy Meets World. That character was just wonderful, wise, and just he knew
Caring.
everything. He had all the answers. Cory, as a teacher, doesn't have the answers, but he's figuring it out, and I think he's doing the best that he can. And I think that that's something that people our age, myself and Danielle's age, you know, young 30s, 30-ish, they're slowly figuring it out. They obviously don't have all the answers, but they're doing the best they can.
I believe that a large part of the reason I am as independent and self-confident as I am is because I grew up portraying Topanga, who is the epitome of a do-it-all kind of girl. It's been a lot of fun revisiting Cory again. Most of the writers and many of the crew members worked on the original series, and it's incredible to go to work every day and see so many familiar faces on set. Working on Girl is this journey into the past. I have a lot of deja vu moments.
And then we can name our children Chewbacca and Plankton.
Cory and Topanga's kids did not end up being called Chewbacca and Plankton. I guess they eventually settled with Riley and Augie Matthews. Rowan Blanchard plays Riley, despite originally coming in to audition for the role of Maya Hart. It's important for people to understand that it's not going to be picking up where Boy Meets World left off. We're trying to create a show for a brand new generation of kids to grow up with.
Is how do I get up in the morning and think to myself that I'm not doing a unique show of this day? Girl Meets World has got to be about the friendship of these two children as couched by somebody who has been through it and is still confused.
Disney called Michael Jacobs asking for a new Boy Meets World. Michael Jacobs was intrigued by the idea of bringing back the same type of storytelling that Boy Meets World was famous for back to television.
A lot of the motivation for making the show was to address the issues and concerns that kids nowadays are going through.
So we were lucky enough to have writer Strong come back, who played Shawn on the original show. He plays Shawn in this show as well. People are going to be very excited to see him. Bill Daniels makes an appearance again as Mr. Feeny, who's just an iconic teacher. We also got to see Rusty, who played Alan Matthews, Betsy Randle, who played Amy Matthews. So yeah, Lee Norris comes back as playing Minkus. We get a lot of really great people to come back, and if we get to continue on, we hope that more will return.
We're going to figure out a way to see absolutely everybody in this room, and even
Mr. Feeny.
And yes, and the cardboard cutout there in the fourth. The cardboard cutout's going to make a great appearance.
She's a done deal.
Ryder didn't want to revisit Chet Hunter. He told me he keeps him locked in the cellar. I'll be honest and say it has not been fun playing Shawn again. Going back to the show as a director is incredibly satisfying and fulfilling.
She's the one who left. I got left.
Yeah, I got a lot of that too. Who's on your list?
Mother, father, girlfriend.
Wow. What is it with us?
Nothing good happens to Shawn.
Shawn returned on Girl Meets World in the episode Home for the Holidays, the 16th episode of Season 1. Shawn, Amy and Alan, and Uncle Joshua, played by Uriah Shelton, are coming over for a holiday dinner. Girl Meets World has kept true to its word of getting every Boy Meets World character involved.
So we're still friends? Because I haven't seen you in a really long time. Not a day goes by that your voice still isn't inside my head. No matter what I do.
Shawn has now developed a relationship with Riley, and especially with Riley's best friend, Maya Hart.
I like her very much. Doesn't she remind you of someone?
Yeah, what can I say? I like people that remind me of me.
Maya and Riley's friendship is written to parallel the same type of relationship that Cory and Shawn had.
Riley and I are the best friends on this planet.
Well, that's cute. Because Cory and I are the best friends in all of existence, which includes your little crummy planet.
Shawn has become a mentor/father figure to Maya and has a budding, complicated relationship with Maya's mother, Katie. The writers have continued Shawn's journey by giving him closure with Angela.
What's going on?
I'm married now. Let what we had make you ready for something.
Have kids, Angela. What more are you in the world?
And having his dad Chet's spirit guide him on major life decisions.
Take a look at the expression on them two faces. You know what that is? Hope.
We saw Harley Keiner return as a janitor, whose life was changed by Cory.
You look a lot like Harley Keiner.
And now looks out for the school kids.
I appreciate you, baboon. Now get out of here so I can go home.
Stuart Minkus returned as the father of the main character, Farkle Minkus.
Minkus!
Topanga!
I'm Stuart Minkus' son.
Minkus reproduced?
Farkle Minkus shares many of his dad's attributes, eager to learn, and a know-it-all wannabe ladies' man. Stuart even married Shawn's old girlfriend, Jennifer. The girls are also joined by Lucas Fryer, a native of Austin, Texas, trying to make a new life and reputation for himself in New York. Lucan often displays common sense and good manners, going out of his way to bond with people who are his opposites. This makes him good friends with the nerdy Farkle, and the target of mockery by Maya. The girls even got to meet Mr. Feeny at his Philadelphia home, and do the famous Feeny call. Nobody was more elated to be back than Will Friedle. Since season 6, Will Friedle had been suffering from anxiety attacks. This cost him a huge ABC acting contract because he no longer could act on camera, forcing him to focus on voice acting.
If I'm ever going to get back on camera, they could not mastermind a better place for me to go. I know all the people on the set. I know all the actors. Michael Jacobs has been amazingly helpful. What do you need to come back here? Blah, 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 blah. And I went and I did my first episode, and the audience cheered and gave me a standing ovation, and I almost cried.
I did 3 episodes, and I wrote the 3rd one that I was in. So the next one that airs is one that I wrote.
My name is TJ Murphy. Thomas Jonathan Murphy. Eric Matthews once knew me as... Tommy? Hi, Eric.
The show would be a reunion with the same boy, Tommy, that Eric big brothered and almost adopted. Being forced into voice acting, Will considers the best thing that could have happened. The biggest promise the writers fulfilled was the nagging question of what happened to Jonathan Turner.
Cory, you were listening.
How could I not? I mean, you wore a leather jacket to work every day. You taught comic books.
So, word has it you took care of Chet Hunter?
Yeah, I did. His dad was a little off and on. No kid should have that.
Yeah. Did you care about him, though? You weren't his real father.
No, I wasn't.
But was it possible for you to?
Yes, Maya. I loved him like a son. I still do.
Mr. Turner was now a superintendent. Jonathan reveals that he married his nurse who cared for him after his motorcycle accident in Boy Meets World.
You rode to work on a motorcycle.
Right up until the day the bike and I both got totaled. But things happen for a reason. I married my nurse.
Oh. You fell in love with her?
Nah, in case it ever happens again.
Though, if you'd like to know where Nebula Lawrence and Stacey Hunter went, well...
I'll go Feeny. I'll go Feeny.
Okay.
Boys Meets World. Boys Meets.
Attention! Boy Meets World, now 5 times a week.
So, happy ending, right?
Yep, and I think we had a hand in it.
Mr. Matthews, Mr. Hunter.
How does he always find us?
Gentlemen, you're on the wrong show.
Busted.
I wonder how they make a spectacular animated movie come to life.
Well, the Disney Channel must be reading your mind.
Hey, can they legally do that?
No, because next up, the Disney Channel is taking us behind the scenes to see how they do it. From the stories, to the artists, to the animators, to the actors.
Wait a minute. You're saying that they're going to show us all the special secrets in making an animated movie?
Yeah, that's right. We're going to see an American legend come to life. We're going to see the making of Pocahontas.
Wow.
Now, who could ask for more?
Well, I could ask that the Disney Channel not read my mother's mind.